What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Black Spire by Delilah S. Dawson. Obviously, there are going to be spoilers from this book, and there will probably also be spoilers from the Phasma novel, so if you haven't read either of these books, you have been warned. But we pick up in this book, like, immediately with Vi talking to Leia. Leia wants to form a new resistance base. They're on Dakar. They haven't, nothing has happened yet. This is still, like, before The Force Awakens, technically. And they're wanting to find a new base, and they're proposing that Batuu could be the perfect place for it, because this is a planet that is like way out in the Outer Rim. This is like the last crossroads before you go out into wild space in the unknown regions. It's a place that has kind of been untouched by the larger plights of the galaxy, so this could be a great place for the Resistance to hide. But then the Hosnian system blows up, and then they're on the run from the First Order, and then Crate happens, and 4 months later we pick back up with Vi finally being able to go and figure all of this stuff out. So she has already been through everything from the Phasma novel. Like, she has already been through all of that trauma. Her and Cardinal have escaped from the Absolution, and they're both healing. And Leia wants Vi to go and set the space up with Cardinal. Like, she specifically wants them to work together. She wants them to be partners because she believes in redemption. Cardinal was once a very prominent officer within the First Order who decides to turn from it and leave. He finally deserts the First Order. There's so much going on in his mind. He's even reclaimed his old name of Archex, but there's still a lot of healing to be done. This is a character who really doesn't know what to do anymore. He wishes that he had died on the Absolution, because it is so hard to keep living this life where he doesn't know how to do anything. He says repeatedly that living on a Star Destroyer, it's so ordered and you know what's expected of you, you know what you're supposed to do, but living with the Resistance when everybody's on equal ground, he just doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know how to be useful because his leg is injured and his lung is injured, so he can't fight and live the way that he used to. And there's so much anger there, and there's so much angst, and I was really excited to explore all of that, but unfortunately Archex gets put on the back burner, and this is Vi's story, and that's fine, that's totally understandable. This is told from Vi's perspective, but we really don't get enough of that story. I was getting really excited going like, wow, this is like talking about like redemption, and this could go into episode 9 and Ben Solo, but it really just gets put on the back burner, and it is not the focus of the story. Like I said, that's fine, but the salt does come in a little bit later. So they go to Batuu, they crash land on this planet, they are completely injured, and they have all of their stuff stolen from them, and now they have to like try to figure out how to get everything back. They're just living in the wilderness. Right now, it's just Vi, Archex, and a sassy droid named Pook, who I love so much. This character, this droid, oh my god, a sass-off between him, L3, R2, and K2SO is what we need, and it would probably destroy the world. But from here, this is Vi learning more about Black Spire. She, goes through the town, she starts meeting new characters, she gets a job at Savvy's workshop. All of this is just trying to get her to a place where she can get some more money and start building this resistance base, hopefully recruiting more people. And what I really like here is that we learn a lot about Savvy and his gatherers. If you listen to Lipstick and Lightsabers, or if you watch Network 1901, I have talked about this a little bit with, we know that Savvy's workshop, you can go to it at, Galaxy's Edge. It's a place where you can build lightsabers, but in canon, it's kind of a secret. Nobody really knows that that's what Savvy is doing, but he does have a team of salvagers, which he is called the Gatherers, and they are looking specifically for artifacts, specifically Jedi or Sith artifacts. And he says that he was a friend with Laura Santeca way back when. You remember Laura Santeca from The Force Awakens, and that they believed that even though they did not have the Force, they did not have this way of controlling it, they believed that it was up to them to help the Force maintain its balance, that sometimes it needs a little bit of help. And Lore and Savvy actually dedicate their life to figuring this out. And it's just very interesting that he knows so much, and it seems like he and this other character named Yelena really know a lot about the Force. They really talk about characters having this gleam and how the Force selects certain individuals and moves through them. That all really bleeds in to episode 9, and it really bleeds into lines that we get in the Last Jedi novelization about Rey and Kylo being instruments of the Force. There's also a lot of kyber crystals just laying around. Like, obviously we know that there are millions of kyber crystals at Galaxy's Edge, but the fact fact that they just find them all the time and they're just around and everywhere seems a little bit strange, but I guess that's, buy our toys, capitalism. From here, this is where the story starts to weaken for me, because it really is Vi like going on this adventure. The First Order comes, she's outrunning them, but it starts to fall a little bit flat because it feels a lot like resistance propaganda. The way that Vi recruits other members of the resistance, like obviously it's not like the First Order. We do know that the First Order, kidnaps people, and they also make them listen to First Order propaganda while they are sleeping to condition and brainwash them. The resistance isn't doing that, but the way that she takes some of the members and the way that she talks to people, it just feels very like they don't necessarily have a choice. The resistance is very much on their high horse of this is good and we believe in hope and we have to fight against tyranny, and like all of that is great, but it was hammered home so much. There were so many chapters that basically said the same thing that it just got really annoying. And that's where I feel like if we could have had more of Archex's story, if this could have also been told more from his point of view, that would have balanced that out a lot. Because I feel like more than anything, we don't need to see like our new characters join the resistance, learn to believe in the resistance. We need to see Archex learn to believe in the resistance. He was with the First Order and he left, but he doesn't believe that he's with the resistance. He believes that he's a prisoner of the resistance. This book could have been 10 times better if this was about him learning to accept the resistance and learning to believe in it, a lot like Finn does, but we'd get it, like a little bit meatier in there, but we don't get any of that. And in fact, Archex is really pushed aside. He's kind of played for a fool, and in the end, he dies. He does sacrifice himself for the resistance, but it feels very hollow. The turnaround doesn't really feel quite as like solidified as it could have. Like I do feel like it's because of his relationship with Vi, but it just doesn't feel quite as there as it could have been. And he sacrifices himself so that they can be safe and the First Order will never find them again. Well, lo and behold, 6 weeks later the First Order finds them again anyway, so it didn't even mean anything. And that made me very angry, and it really just sent me this message of he was part of the First Order, he wanted to die, he didn't want to keep living, and he got his wish. And it just really doesn't sit very well with me. That also plays into what we learn about Vi in this book. So I am really excited to say that Star Wars finally has a canon ace character. They finally have a canon asexual character. She could be aromantic. I don't know. She is somewhere on the ace spectrum, and that is outstanding. We haven't gotten a character like that hasn't been a droid. So the fact that they have officially made Vi Marathi a ace character is amazing. You can't deny it in the way that she talks about herself, the way that she talks about attraction, anything like that. She is very clearly on the ace spectrum, and I absolutely love that. But I don't like that it's at the expense of Archex's character. Archex is really played to be like an idiot. The way that he just automatically assumes that him and Vi are like in some kind of relationship, the way he feels something for her. He actually tries to kiss her like randomly, and it's very cringy, and Vi has to like calmly tell him like, no baby, no, like we're just friends, like I don't think of you like that. It feels very condescending, and so this joy that I want to feel about a character who is asexual, and like, I'm also asexual, and we finally have that representation in Star Wars, it kind of gets taken away because it's at the expense of this other amazing character. And after that, we don't get to really talk to Archex at all. She mentions that Archex, being with the First Order, could have some trouble forming relationships. I would have loved to see him work through that. I would have loved to see him work through that with Vi, but we don't. It's just kind of brushed aside, which was just really annoying. And they don't have to be in a romantic relationship. Yes, I shipped Vi and Archex. Yes, I wanted that to be a thing, but they don't have to be. I love that Vi is an asexual character. I just don't like that it felt almost mean. And as a Reylo, I have been told by lots of people that, shipping this type of pairing is like really toxic and really bad. There are people out there who believe that Rey should be asexual and like all this kind of stuff. And it felt a lot like that. It felt like very condescending to me, and that is totally me projecting onto this book. That's why I know that this book is still good. I still recommend it. I know it's just me reading a little bit too much into it, but that is what I get out of it. And I have talked to some other folks who have read this book who have said the same thing. So it's really irritating, and I hate that we had to get it in this way. So overall, the big conclusions to take away from this book are the things with the resistance, like seeing how they recruit, seeing their side of the propaganda, seeing how they got to Batu, seeing all of the stuff with Savvy, learning all of those little force bits here and there, and seeing those ideas of redemption still being ever present are huge, huge reasons to pick up this book. If you didn't, that's okay, now you know, but it really is going to connect into The Rise of Skywalker. I still have a lot of problems with this book. I will still probably be salty about this book for a long time, but overall, it's just really disappointing. I'm just really disappointed in the direction that this book went. So I would really love to know all of your thoughts about this book. I really want to know what you guys think of Archex's story. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I just want to know what you guys have to say. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything I got for you today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.